Hello and welcome to Accent Excellence. I'm Chuck Lionberger, and coming up on this month's show, we're going to continue our conversation about school safety and security. This time we'll discuss the School Safety Advisory Committee. Also, we have some reminders for you about changes to the exam exemption policy coming up later this year, and summer's just around the corner, and that means it's time for summer camps at the Burton Center for Arts and Technology. So don't go anywhere. Accent Excellence is next.
If you would like to adopt a pet, did you know that you can also go to the RCACP website and their Facebook page to look at pets for adoption? It's easy to do. Simply go to their website at rcacp.org or visit their Facebook page. Both sites include information and pictures of animals waiting to be adopted. Help make a difference in the life of a pet today. Adopt from the Regional Center for Animal Care and Protection.
Hi, and welcome back to Accent Excellence. Joining me is Jason Sir. He's our Director of Career and Technical Education here at Roanoke County Public Schools. And Jason, it's hard to believe it, but summer's actually just around the corner, and that means summer camp time here at Roanoke County Public Schools.
That's right, and we have a lot of camps that we offer at Burton Center for Arts and Technology.
Yeah, a lot of camps that are available. So we thought we would take a few minutes and kind of walk through some of the various camps that are available for students, kind of talk about who's available and who can attend them. And, to be honest, they're all very reasonably priced.
They are. Each of them are priced very reasonably, $75 for 7 out of the 8. But the 8th camp that is a little bit longer in duration is $100.
Excellent. So first and foremost, who are these camps available for?
They're available to any rising 6th through 8th grader. So current 5th through 7th graders can apply to these camps and attend them this summer.
And it's important to stress that this is not just for students in Roanoke County either.
That's correct. It's wide open. Anybody that wants to attend can apply.
So we thought we would take a minute. So let's kind of walk through all of the different camps that are available, and starting right off the bat, we're going to feature one of our great programs that we have at Burton, and that's the engineering camp.
That's right. Our Center for Engineering is putting on a 3-day camp. It's a Tuesday through Thursday camp, and again, $75 to attend. And I think there is a morning or an afternoon session, so you can pick your preference there. And it's just a way for students to come in, kind of get a feel for some robotics. They work with the Lego Mindstorms product, and are able to do some programming and working with some software. And it's just a neat technology camp that we offer there at Burton.
And this is going to be a recurring theme for many of these camps, is getting this kind of head start and sneak peek at all of the opportunities that are available at Burton. And why is that so beneficial for students?
Well, it gives the students an opportunity to get a feel for what the program might be like before they can attend it. So Burton is open to students in grades 9 through 12 during the school year. We want to give younger students an opportunity to come in and see what's offered at Burton Center before they're able to apply.
Alrighty, so the next one up, we're heading over to the Performing Arts Center.
That's right. Performing Arts does a great job. They do throughout the week of the camp, the 4 days, Monday through Thursday, they work on a production, and at the end of the week, they showcase that to the parents. The parents are able to come in and see what the students have been working on throughout the week, and they work on the 3 aspects: the theater, the dance, and the
and vocals.
Vocals, yeah.
And so again, that's a hands-on camp, and an opportunity for students to get true on-stage experience.
It is. Yep.
All right, so we're moving over, and speaking about on stage and performing in some respects, we're also dealing with mass communication. This is another very popular camp.
It is, and it's a very popular program at Burton Center during the school year. So the students will be coming in for the camp and being able to work with video editing tools and putting together some of their own film and working on little projects like that. So getting a taste of what mass communications is about in general, and then what our program offers.
And these days with kids and smartphones, there are so many opportunities to create videos that this actually helps. This would be helpful for students even if they aren't going to be going into the mass communication field.
You're exactly right.
All right, so another very popular program at Burton, and this one's a little different. It's crime scene investigation. What's that all about?
Well, the students come in and learn more about the criminal justice field, and we have a great criminal justice program at Burton Center, and the students during the camp will be able to come in and get a little look at what goes on in criminal justice. There are many different aspects of criminal justice. You talk about the police, of course, but then you also have the court system and the lawyers and things like that. So there's a lot going on in criminal justice, and this is a way to explore that.
And another great hands-on camp, printmaking, and so we're moving into the art realm.
That's right. And the art realm, we have some great tools at Burton Center for students to use in the area of art. And Mr. Moon and the art teachers put on a great camp during the summer. Students can come in and get a little taste of what it is to do art digitally, and that sounds like an exciting opportunity.
Okay, now these next two, you and I may have to go do ourselves because they're making me hungry. We have a pair of really, really, frankly, delicious culinary camps.
That's right. Well, A Taste of Italy is, of course, an Italian gourmet type food preparation camp, and the students would be able to get in there and be able to figure out how to make pasta and work with the chef there in the real live kitchen. So it's quite an opportunity there that week, being able to tackle the Italian food concept.
And then the second camp as well.
The second camp is keeping calm and clucking on. And so being able to, students will be able to come in and figure out how to handle poultry and in many different ways disassemble and work with the chicken itself, but then also the results of the life of a chicken, the egg as well. So.
That's correct. Yep. And just as a note, for both of those camps, the students get to keep their own chef's hat at the end of the camp. And so all of these camps that we just talked about were all $75
That's
camps.
Correct.
And now we're going to move to our final camp. It is a longer camp, and it is $100, but it's the design camp. What's that one all about?
Well, the students are able to come into our manufacturing lab and be able to use anything, some 3D printing, be able to tackle some problems that they might not be able to do otherwise due to the complex nature of development and things like that. They might not have a 3D printer at home. They might not be able to use some of the equipment that we do have at Burton Center. And we wanted to afford that to the students in partnership with some local community agencies, and they've really come together and put together a great camp with Mr. Burns at the helm.
And you know, that's one other piece that is really applicable to all of these camps. It's access to equipment, programs, software that might not be available at home or readily available online that students can come in and have access to and start to learn how to use.
Absolutely. It's an exciting opportunity for students to be able to come in, spend a few hours each day working with those tools that we have to offer.
Okay, so the most important question of all, how do parents sign up?
Sign up using the brochures that were sent home. We had a bunch of brochures sent home to Roanoke County students, grades 5 through 7, so that they had the opportunity to see that hard copy, but then they can also go to the Roanoke County Public Schools website and find the brochure there and be able to sign up.
Right, the brochure is available and the registration forms are available on the Burton website. So we encourage you to sign up, and we have to stress that for all of these camps, the spots are limited, so it is first come, first serve.
That's right. So we'll monitor that, and as soon as they fill up, we'll have to cut it off.
All right, very good. So we're looking forward to a great session of summer camps. Jason, again, thanks for being with us. And folks, stay right there. We have a lot more accent excellence still to come.
A house will always look like a house, but what makes a house a home?
Laughter.
Kindness.
Oh, there it is.
Love.
Hope.
Family. Could you provide a home to a local youth in need?
Learn more about foster care today and help make a house a home.
Hi, and welcome back to Accent Excellence. Joining me is Dr. Ken Nicely. He's the Assistant Superintendent of Administration and Instruction here at Roanoke County Public Schools. And Dr. Nicely, we're continuing a conversation that we've been having for several episodes now on Accent Excellence about school safety and security. And there's a new element to school safety and security that we have begun to implement, and that is the School Safety Advisory Committee. So first and foremost, what is this committee?
So we're really excited to pull this committee together. We think this is really going to bring in some different voices, some different perspectives that we really need to bring together to really help us with all aspects of school safety and security. You know, we already have a tremendous team in Roanoke County in terms of working with law enforcement and fire and EMS, first responders, who really bring that level of expertise. when it comes to specific aspects of school safety planning. But this advisory committee, what this is bringing in is the missing element of the parent voice and the teacher voice. The people who work directly with our students, teachers in the classroom who are going to be the ones responding to situations there. Certainly parents who are very concerned about the safety of their children, and work with them at home. So we really want to hear from more pieces of or parts of the community to try to make sure we're hearing all those voices.
So this was an application period, and we opened this up well over a month ago, and we had a tremendous response, didn't we?
Yeah, so over 200 applications, so which was wonderful. That just shows the level of commitment and passion and interest that's out there in Roanoke County, which is wonderful. We want that, and we want to hear from those folks. So obviously, when you're working with a committee, in order to do efficient and effective work, to really make it real and bring forward some real ideas that are actionable, that we can present to the larger school safety task force with law enforcement. We had to have a committee. It's about 30 folks. So we have parent and teacher representation from all over the school district. But for the other folks who applied and aren't part of the committee, or anybody else out there that would like to present ideas, we have a wonderful link on the website where people can go in and submit their ideas that the committee can still consider.
And this committee is to make sure that we're kind of clear about this. This is not a one and done type of thing.
Sure.
This is something that will be ongoing.
Absolutely. So, right, because school safety and security is not a one and done process. It's striking a balance between never resting on your laurels or making assumptions about things that could or couldn't happen here. It's about doing the right thing and making sure that we're considering all aspects of safety and security. We don't need to go and overreact, but we do need to take it seriously, obviously, and always consider new ideas. And so this will be an ongoing process where we'll bring these folks back to meet several times during the year. And again, anybody else who wants to submit ideas for input, they are certainly welcome.
So let's take through a little bit about kind of what the task of this particular committee is going to do, and also help to explain the relationship between this advisory committee and, as you mentioned, the school safety task force, which sort of sits at the next level up.
Right, sure. So the idea of the advisory committee is to do that. I mean, to advise, to hear from people, just average parents and of course our teachers and staff members. A lot of these parents do have some great backgrounds and some expertise they're bringing to the table, but it's really that opportunity to have that parent and staff voice represented, get that perspective in play, generate ideas, have some good discussion about those, really get the pulse of where our community is in terms of what kind of school environments we want to create. But then take those ideas, make recommendations to the safety task force, which will do that deeper dive in terms of vetting out from a safety and security standpoint, from a law enforcement standpoint, those ideas that they would recommend for us to actually implement.
And then ultimately out of the school safety task force, recommendations would of course come here to the school board.
That's right, that's right. So the task force does the same thing, you're right. They make recommendations. And throughout the last several years, there are many enhancements to school security, hardening of facilities in terms of access that have occurred because of those recommendations from the school safety task force. So we really appreciate their expertise in giving those recommendations.
And as you had said, this is something that's ongoing, and the task force has made a lot of recommendations, and many of them we have already implemented. Some that are easily seen, some not so much, and some recommendations that, frankly, we can't really discuss and talk about it, and there's a very good reason for that.
That's right. And that is one of the differences between the Safety Advisory Committee. We can talk in general ways, and we can get those ideas, but some of the specific things that we do within the schools are not things that we want out there for public knowledge that could potentially be taken advantage of by someone meaning to do harm.
And so there's we greatly appreciate all of those who expressed interest. Again, more than 200 applications. And we wanted to also take a moment to remind folks that we have a safety and security page on our website. Just go online to the Roanoke County Public Schools website and click on the link for safety and security. You can find it there on the front under About Us or in the Parent and Student tab that you can then see all of the different implementations and things that we have done, as well as find that information form that Dr. Nicely had mentioned, and we hope that you will take advantage to give us ideas and suggestions that the various committees can look at. So again, Dr. Nicely, thank you so much for being with us, and folks, stay right there. More Acts and Excellence is still to come.
I want to be popular.
I want to be invited to parties.
I don't want to be invisible anymore.
I want to be part of the in crowd.
You think you have to drink to be in the in crowd, but giving in to peer pressure isn't going to get you anywhere. Be true to yourself to accomplish your big dreams.
Hi, and welcome back to Accent Excellence. Joining me is Dr. Rhonda Stegall. She's Director of Secondary Instruction here at Roanoke County Public Schools. And Dr. Stegall, we are approaching the finish line for many of our middle and high school students. Exams are just around the corner, but for students and parents, there are some new exemption requirements and a change to the policy that could be very beneficial for parents and students. So I thought we would take a couple of minutes and kind of walk through some of the changes to the exam exemption policy.
Okay. Well, the first major change is for the attendance piece to meet the criteria for exam exemption. And basically the reason we decided to change that is there's been, flu epidemic and lots of illnesses. And so it used to be 3 days that students can miss in every class. And so we decided that we would extend that to 5, to understanding that we don't want kids who are sick to force themselves to come to school and make others sick just trying to meet the criteria for this exam exemption policy. So we switched the attendance from 3 days that they can miss to now 5. And the other thing that was added is an appeal opportunity, because before there were no exceptions to that rule. And so the only exceptions were religious exemptions and school field trips that were school or organized. And so now what we're going to do is for those students who are chronically ill, who have experienced significant bereavement, who have been assigned to bed rest or hospitalized, they can now appeal to me, the Director of Instruction, Secondary Instruction, and there's a form online where they can go to our website and go under Instruction, and then they will find an appeal form for the exam exemption, and that needs to be submitted at least 2 weeks before final assessments. And with that documentation, there needs to come the medical documentation to support the illnesses, or any other kind of documents that they would like to provide. And I will review those and consider the appeal.
One important thing to remember when it comes to absences is the difference between excused and unexcused, and they have some very, very big differences between them.
They do. And when you look at absences, there's really 2 types of absences that we talk about. There is classroom absences, where the teacher takes the daily attendance to their classroom, and then there's daily attendance absences. And so when you're talking about classroom attendance, this is what impacts the exam exemption policy. So it's your student has to be physically sitting in the classroom for 50% of the class period to be considered present. And then for the classroom attendance, for the daily attendance, it's a little bit different. Virginia Department of Education next year is putting in a provision of chronic absenteeism, which means students, which for our division, because we have some built-in exam days at the end of the year, so we are going to allow students to only miss 13 days next year. That's the max. And the reason for that is the Virginia Department of Education is now going to be monitoring student attendance, and any student who's over those 13 absences will jeopardize the accountability of the school division. So that also has been included in the new policy, that students in daily attendance means you miss 100% of the day. So that's not based on classroom attendance. So you can only miss a max of 13 days next school year. But when you talk about exam exemption attendance, that's according to students sitting in the class with the teacher 50% of the time. And
again, just to kind of clarify, so that's 5 daily attendances,
yes,
classroom attendances, so that if I have a student who they make it for first and second period, but they leave third and fourth, and they kind of routinely leave early, they could meet the exam exemption for first and second
Yes.
and not for third and fourth because they were not physically in those classrooms for third and fourth period.
Absolutely. And there's also some classes we have at the middle school and the high school that are double blocked, meaning that the student's in there for 2 blocks. In those situations, students can only miss 7 days. So, 5 for a regular block class and 7 for those classes that are double blocked.
And one clarification, is that 5 per semester, or is that 5 the whole year?
5 for second semester.
Okay.
We only start counting for second semester for exam exemption.
Absolutely. So a few questions and hopefully a little bit of a clarification. Again, we were trying to be understanding because flu season, especially this year, was particularly rough, and so we wanted to make some changes to help parents and students so that they could still meet some of the requirements, but do so a little bit more understandingly. So, Dr. Schall, thank you so much for being with us, and folks, stay right there. We have more Accent Excellence still to come.
The Roanoke County Sheriff's Office presents the Avoid Program, a personal safety class designed to help citizens with information, tips and tricks to help gain awareness of their surroundings, strategies to help plan for the unexpected, and the confidence to deal with encounters that may arise in order to enhance personal safety. The cost of the class is 10 canned goods or non-perishable items, which will be collected at the beginning of the class. Registration is on a first-come, first-served basis. For more info, call 540-283-3107.
Hi, and welcome back to Accent Excellence. We're at the Roanoke County Public Schools Administration Building, and joining us once again is Tracy Lee from the Virginia Department of Education. She's a Family Engagement Specialist. And Tracy, last time we were talking about collecting data, all about helping parents to deal with challenging behaviors at home. And so, for that, go back and check out our previous episode that we did on that. But now taking that data and moving forward to trying to encourage positive behavior, because that's really kind of what we're all out to get. We want to encourage or to limit the negative behavior. We really want to see positive behavior. So there are some ways to not only encourage positive behavior, but also to reward positive behavior.
Right. One thing that parents need to really think about is how they are telling their children to do something. So, for example, if you want your child to do their homework, if you're saying, will you please go do your homework? And the child says, no, I'd rather not. Well, that's a problem, and that's on the parent. If it's not a question, then don't ask a question. If it's a command, it's a command. You need to say it as such. That doesn't mean it needs to be rude and you need to be like a drill sergeant, but you do need to make sure that you're not asking a question that can be answered negatively. Okay, so that's one thing that you need to think about. Another thing that you need to think about is your tone when you're telling the child to do something. A lot of times we speak to our children in a nagging tone. So we say something like, go do your homework. Well, when you speak to someone like that, if you think about yourself, if someone speaks to you that way, you immediately don't want to do whatever it is they're telling you to do. And kids are the same way. So watch your tone when you speak to your kids. Another thing that you want to consider is keeping whatever you're asking them to do or telling them to do, keep it short. Kids can't understand a lot of language jumbled up together. So all you need to say is, go start your homework, go clean your room. It needs to be very simple and to the point. Also, if you can give them time to be able to do whatever the thing is you need them to do, for example, clean their room, if you tell them go do it right now, that can be kind of annoying if they're in the middle of something. So if you tell them in 5 minutes I need you to, or when the big hand is on the 10 I need you to, it gives them a little bit of time to prepare for it.
And part of it also would think that while you want to be firm as a parent, it's also being understanding. But at the same time, and I think I'm probably just as guilty as anything, saying, hey, can you do me a favor and go take the clothes downstairs to get washed? And why am I asking? It's no, do it. Right,
exactly.
So
you want to say it politely, but it's still a command.
Right, because and that's the fact that's the matter. You're the parent. You're in charge.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
But once they do that, then we want to make sure that we're acknowledging the good behavior.
Praise is really, really, really important for kids, and I want you to think about praise. Think of it as a bank account, okay? So every time you praise your child, you're making a deposit. So when you do have to say something that's not so much fun, when you have to impose a consequence and you're making a withdrawal, you've still got lots and lots of stuff there. You're not overdrawn. So praise, you need to be praising your child more than saying negative things. So for every negative comment that your child hears from you in a day, depending on the research you read, your child needs to be hearing 4, 5, or even up to 10 positive comments from you in order to make sure that that balance stays positive.
So what do you look for You know, because I can see this, and I heard this earlier, and I thought, a 10-to-1 ratio of positive comments to negative. What
That's
in
huge.
the world am I going to be hired? But at the same time, they're actually doing a lot of good things out there.
They are.
Just recognize it.
We're more patterned to find the things that they're doing wrong than we are to find the things that they're doing right. So they probably are doing 10 right things for every wrong thing that they're doing. We just need to train ourselves to look for them. And for some kids, it's a little harder than others. There's no question. But for those kids, you need to really, you really need to dig deep, and you need to find the good things that they're doing, because they need to hear about it probably more than anybody else.
And this is sometimes where that data comes in very, very handy.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right, so continuing, though, then on that, moving forward, because then, when you have to have that big, from that bank account,
that big withdrawal,
you're going to have that big withdrawal.
Right.
How do we do with that?
Well, you want to make sure that when you do make that withdrawal, when you impose the consequence, you're not screaming, you're not yelling. Anytime your child is having a major negative emotional reaction to something, you having a counter negative emotional reaction on top of it is not going to help the situation at all, okay? When a child is sort of careening out of control, you want them to feel you're calm. You don't want them to feel that you're out of control as well. So when you are imposing those consequences, or when you are having those discussions with them about things that they've done wrong, you need to make sure that you keep your cool. It's very important.
So I guess kind of blowing up like Donald Duck, probably not the best
Not
of
a good
ideas.
idea. Nope.
Tempting as it may be.
It feels good in the moment sometimes,
Right.
but it almost always feels bad after.
All right. So what are some ways that again we can try and help to encourage some of those positive behaviors? Again, there's a couple of tips out there.
Right. For little kids, you can turn chores or turn things that they need to do into a race. You can use just a kitchen timer, the kind that you turn and it goes tick, 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 and it dings. Right. It makes it into a game. So let's see if you can pick up your blocks before the timer dings. You just took a chore and you made it into a game. That's effective. If behavior charts are also effective, if you're a parent that's going to actually follow through with a behavior chart, and a lot of parents don't, and that's okay. But if that's And I am that parent. I'm not great with follow through with things like that, so I don't do them. So if you know that you're not going to follow through with a behavior chart, don't start one. But if you are going to, it can be a really good way to impact behavior.
And one thing you had mentioned about behavior charts is that these are not, if you are going to do a behavior chart and follow through with it, the follow through though is not till the end of time.
Right.
It's a fairly short time.
Yes, you want to build in an escape hatch. So, for example, if you are doing a behavior chart about getting up and out in the morning, you could have the days of the week across the top, and then down the side, things they have to do in the mornings. They have to get up without arguing. They have to brush their teeth. They have to get dressed. They have to eat breakfast. You put those things down the side, okay? So let's say you have 5 activities and 5 days across the top. That's 25 boxes. So you tell the child, if you get 20 of the boxes checked or with a sticker by the end of the week, you get a prize at the end of it. But you want to let the child know at the beginning, once you've learned this skill, the chart's going to go away. We're not doing this forever. So once you get to the point where you're getting 22 or 23 boxes consistently over a couple of weeks, we're going to stop the chart now.
More great research for our parents. And again, it's all about emphasizing, accenting, highlighting, and recognizing all of those positive behaviors. And for parents, that can be very, very challenging, but it's clearly very, very important. So again, thank you so much for being with us. Next time, we're going to talk about a kind of a dreaded topic for a lot of students. It's homework. But it doesn't have to be so dreaded either for students or, frankly, for parents. But that's on the next time of Accent Excellence. Until then, we appreciate you watching, and stick around because more Accent Excellence is still to come.
You cared then. I need you to care now. Don't turn a blind eye to teenage drinking.
Well, folks, that's it for this month's edition of Accent Excellence. If you'd like to learn more about Roanoke County Public Schools, you can check us out online and on social media with Facebook and Twitter. I'm Chuck Lionberger. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.